Okay, so good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday and happy Guru Purnima. Today is Guru Purnima, which is the celebration of the Guru. So not a specific person Guru, but the great Guru. So the energy of the Guru that finds its way through many eyes and many mouths and many hands. And the Guru that lives inside each of us is where we're meant to come back to, is that there's a celebration of the aspect of each of us that is never separated from the perfection that we originate from, right? And that Guru part of us, or that Guru nature, the Guru themselves are someone who are always looking at the world through those eyes, right? So our practice becomes being able to access that part of ourselves that is able to look at what's in front of us and not see its problems, but to see its perfection. And that includes when we look in the mirror and we see our own selves, our own images, is not to be picking it apart and saying, here's what you should be or what you shouldn't be, or all of your, mistakes and problems and all of this, but it's be able to see the perfection of what you are, and how even with all of that is you still grow into that perfection every day. So the idea is that the more we are looking at the world with those eyes, is that things like loving kindness become simple, because what else is there? Things like compassion become easy, because what else is there if you're looking at the world with those eyes, right? And sometimes we say the metaphor for it that I've heard that I like is, you would never walk into the forest and yell at a tree for not growing straight up and down, right? You wouldn't yell at it for the way that it's grown. Or you wouldn't go into your garden and scream at your plants for, maybe you do, I don't know, but you wouldn't go into your garden and scream at them for not growing at the pace that you want them to grow, So it's this kind of loving experience, or this loving way of being with the world, that is the Guru, right? Is that the Guru is always seeing the perfection in everything, and they don't do anything else but reflect that, right? And that's why we're drawn to those individuals, because we feel the love that's there, and we feel that they see us as perfection. They don't see us as broken. So Guru Purnima is a celebration of that. It's a celebration of that lives in you, that you can be this too, right? You don't need anybody else to do it for you. The Guru on the outside awakens the Guru on the inside, right? So comfortable seat if you're not there already. The eyes close. Drop into your breath, which means you relax a little bit through your shoulders, you relax through your hands, you relax through your mind. And bring the attention to the space between the eyebrows, Ajna chakra, third eye chakra. And you can visualize that however you'd like. With some form of energy there, some form of light, some form of presence. Just the tension is there. And then while you are holding attention on that center, also imagine that there is a smaller or second spot that is just above that. Call this the Guru chakra. So connected to the third eye, or associated with the third eye, there is this second chakra, which is emanating just that experience of perfection, wholeness. So you can feel, maybe imagine that second chakra is feeding into the third eye. It's actually feeding that awareness into the third eye, and the third eye is expanding it out into the world. That through your eyes, that compassion is spread. Through your eyes, that loving kindness is experienced. Through your eyes, the awareness of perfection is there. And if that feels like too much, just breathe into the space in the center of the forehead. And allow yourself to really be in some form of gratitude or understanding of the grace that has moved through your life to bring you here. And the grace that continues to move you through your life to wherever you are going next. It's not the circumstances we're grateful for the grace. What moves us. So one more breath, keeping the attention at the space of the third eye and just above. And then as you exhale, bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. So imagining now that that line of energy from just above the third eye to the third eye drops all the way down to your heart, an unbroken line. Don't separate it as though it lives there and nowhere else. It lives everywhere. So from the heart center in your sound of Om, as you take the sound of Om from that same line of energy, that same understanding of perfection, that the Om is that vocal expression of wholeness. Deep breath in. And then let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands and come forward onto hands and knees and come into child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together to touch. The mantra that often goes along with Guru Purnima. I mean, there's several, but one of them, begins speaking about the Guru that is Brahma and the Guru that is Vishnu and the Guru that is Shiva. So the beginnings and the middles and the ends. And the energy that is all of those things is that these are our gurus. Life is your guru. In the sound of Om, we have what represents all three of those energies combined. It says you can't separate them. Walk yourself to the right, please, over your right thigh. So our understanding in yoga, the idea that there is this universal unity or this cosmic unity is that you cannot separate this embodiment from the purity of your soul. You can't do it. They're not separate. Walk back to center and go to your left. So if in your perception, you are not looking at things as bodies that are trying to grow into something, and instead you are looking at bodies and beings that are simply existing, moving through the world in this perfect and complicated dance. Maybe you look at them with kinder eyes. You look at yourself with kinder eyes. Come back to center. Good. And then walk yourself all the way back up onto hands and knees. Do a little bit of cat and cow, inhaling, lengthening the spine, dropping the belly, lifting the tail, and exhaling, curling and rounding. Good. And keep moving. It's easy to say that you can choose a person or a being or whatever and say, this is my guru, and say that only that one being is your guru. Okay, maybe that one being is what kind of draws you the strongest. But what it means to be a guru exists in everybody. Because it's not so much that you are teaching anyone anything or that you are giving anyone anything except the openness to love them. And even that, they don't have to receive anything in return, right? There's no exchange. The guru doesn't ask for anything. So we try to access that part of ourself that can love unconditionally, doesn't ask for anything. And just like the trees that you wouldn't yell at for being crooked, you're not going to walk through the world and look at everybody's crookedness and say, ugh, why would you do that? Right? The guru just says, wow, look at you doing your life. Good job. May the grace continue to help you find the light, even if it takes you somewhere weird. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come back to downward facing dog. Good. Pedal the feet just a little bit. Nice. And then walk your feet forward towards your hands, please, one step at a time, keeping the knees as bent as they need to be so that you can really feel the release in the lower back as you walk forward. And then when the feet come underneath the hips, good. Then with fingertips on the floor or on your shins, scoop your belly, start to take your legs any amount towards straight. So press your sit bones up towards the sky. Good. And feel as though you are just lengthening the legs by pressing down through the heels and pulling up through your sit bones. Nice. And then bend the knees, dropping the seat. Take the arms up alongside your ears. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Good. Take your hands to your thighs for a moment. Round your back like you're in cat. So pull your belly away from your thighs, but keep your hips low. Good. And then stay just this rounded in your back. Stretch your arms back up alongside your ears. So a chair pose with your arms rounded or your back rounded. Good. And then keep your low ribs drawing in. And now try and take your butt back even further and draw those thigh creases back, but don't let your ribs pop forward. Good. So you actually have to drop into your seat a little bit more. Yeah. And you might have to feel like you are squeezing an imaginary block, but keep pulling your sit bones wide so you're not squeezing your butt cheeks in. Good. And then come all the way up to stand, please. Nice. Draw the right knee up in towards your chest. Good. And then take that thigh over the left thigh. So right thigh crosses left. Bend the left knee, dropping into eagle pose. Press the shins together. So you're wrapping the thighs. And then the left arm comes over top of the right in front of your chest. Press the forearms towards each other. Good. Same ideas. The sit bones are going back and wide, but don't let the ribs pop forward when you do that. Keep a lift through your low belly. Good. And squeeze those shins. You're not necessarily squeezing the thighs, but squeeze the shins. Good. Inhale the breath. Exhale, bring the elbows down towards your knees. Again, rounding your back and taking your seat a little lower. Good. And then unwind, please, coming all the way back up to stand. Hug that right knee back up in towards your chest. Yep, it's your challenge. Don't put it down. Good. Squeeze it in. Press your shin against your hand and take your butt up and back behind you. So as you press the shin forward, top of your left thigh goes back. And that's it. Just chest up. Good. And then release that foot to the floor, please. Inhale the arms up to the sky. I know. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana, taking the hands down towards the floor. Nice. Take your hands up to the front of your shins. Inhale, lengthen your spine. So again, navel in and up, extend. Then exhale, bow deeply, letting your weight fall forward towards the balls of your feet. And again, lift up through your sit bones. Good. And then step your right leg back behind you. Drop the knee. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Good. One more breath, you guys. Pull up through your armpits, squeezing the front foot and the back knee towards each other. And then release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, please. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight Parsvottanasana. Good. Nice, you guys. Lifting the left low belly a little higher and wider. Nice. Walk your hands just a little bit to the left, so towards the baby toe of the front foot. Good. Right. Everything begins, they say the Ajna chakra, everything begins from there. Our ideas of duality or unity are expressed through there. So if you're coming from the bottom up, then it seems like you are learning the world in individual stages, and then you eventually get there and say, oh yeah, it's all one. Or you're coming from the top down that says, I always knew it was one, but I forgot. I got caught up in seeing things as categories, identities, labels. But I can come back to that because that's where I began. Everything is one. Walk yourself back to center. And it's such an abstract concept that even when we say it in yoga, our minds are like, that's a beautiful idea. I don't know what you mean. Bend your left knee, please. Step your right foot forward, top of your mat. And that's why we say it's grace, right? Because our mind doesn't know what the heck we're talking about, even as we're saying it. Good. Bend your knees just a little bit, please. Good. So you drop into your feet, and then keeping the hands on the floor or your blocks, start to straighten the legs. Again, pressing through your heels, scoop your belly, press your butt up towards the sky. So it's just an active standing forward fold as opposed to the, oh, I hope that this works, standing forward fold. Good. And then bend the knees again, drop your seat, take your arms up to chair, Utkatasana. Good. Let your weight of your butt move back. So your knees are in line with your ankles, not in front of your ankles. Beautiful. Take your hands to the tops of your thighs, round your back, come into that cat position again. Good. So you should feel a little tucking of your tail. The hips are still moving back. And then stay rounded in your belly and your ribs. Take your arms up alongside your ears. So you're still lifting the chest here. Good. And then start to, again, take those thigh creases back without letting yourself collapse in the lower back, but you extend a little bit more through the pelvis. Nice. And then come all the way up to stand, please. Nice job. Left knee comes up and towards your chest. Good. Take the top of that right thigh up and back, and then cross the left thigh over the right. Good. Bend the right knee. Take your groins back. So again, it's just like chair. If your butt is coming forward, it's harder to balance. Your butt has to come back. And then arms wide, right arm over top of left. Wrap the forearms. Good. So eagle pose is really based upon the same principles as chair pose. So if everything in your legs is coming forward here, it's actually harder to balance. You need the weight of your hips to go slightly back. Good. And then you're dropping down through your seat. Beautiful. As you exhale, bring the elbows forward towards your knees, round your back. Again, allowing your seat to go a little bit deeper. Keep pressing your shins together. So really get that rotation on the legs. Good. And then come all the way back up as you unwind. Take your left knee back up and towards your chest. Don't put it down. Squeeze it in. Good. Use your hands. Take the top of your right thigh up and back as you push that shin into your hand. So it's almost like you're doing a standing balancing lunge, right? That your legs are in the same activity they would be in a lunge. Top of that right thigh back, low belly in. That's it. Good. And then go ahead, release that foot to the floor. Excellent. Inhale the arms up to the sky, feet underneath the hips. Exhale, bow forward, take the hands down to the floor or your blocks, wherever they go. Inhale, lift up onto your shins, lengthen the spine. So coming up halfway, navel in and up. And then exhale, bow deeply again, letting the weight of your shins and your body move towards the balls of your feet. Good. And then step your left leg back behind you. Drop the knee. Use a blanket there if you need. Inhale the arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. Letting your pelvis move forward, but keep your hip points tilted up. So move everything forward so you get that deepness of the front thigh crease. But then lift. Good. Armpits up. Nice, you guys. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Good. Lift the back knee. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana. Good. You're moving that outer left hip, spinning it forward. Right low belly lifts up and wide. Then walk your hands a little bit more to the right, so towards that baby toe of the front foot. Good. And we just contemplate what it might mean to look at the world through eyes that only see the best of what's in front of us. Or rather, it sees everything, but it sees it as complete, right? It's not looking for, oh, this part is the problem and this other part is good. It's just saying, all of this could not exist without everything else. I need you in order to be me. And isn't it great that you are you and I am me? Walk yourself back to center. It doesn't always feel that way when we're not interacting harmoniously with someone. Good. Bend that right knee, please. Step your left foot forward, top of your mat. Good. And then bend the knees again, please, dropping the seat. Take the arms up, Utkatasana, chair pose, arms alongside the ears. Beautiful. And then hands to heart center, please. Prayer twist, right elbow to the outside of your left knee. No twisting to the left. Good. And then look down towards the floor, please. Opportunity here. Step your right foot back behind you so you come into a prayer twisting lunge. Good. You got it. Nice, Andy. Andy, you got to twist the other way, though, or take the other foot back. So actually, you're twisted opposite. So twist to your left. That's okay. Look down towards the floor again, you guys who are in the lunge. Step the foot back forward to chair pose. Good. And then come on out. Take the arms up to the sky. Nice job. Right hand holds left wrist. Pull to your right. Side stretch. Good. And then come on back up and switch, please. Switch the hands and reach to the left. Good. And then come back up to center, please. Bend the knees again, come back to chair. So we'll try this again. Hands to heart center. So twisting to your right, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Yep, there you go. You got it, Andy. Nice, you guys. So holding the prayer twist if you can, or again, you can use the hand at the knee, look down towards the floor and step that left leg back behind you into a prayer twisting high lunge if you can. Good. And then open the chest again into that full twist if you came out of it. Beautiful. And pull the crown of your head forward as you pull back through that back heel. Nice. And then take your gaze back down towards the floor and step your left foot back forward to the top of your mat, prayer twisting chair. Good. And then unwind your twist. Take the arms up to the sky. Deep breath in. Nice. And then exhale, bow forward, release the hands down to the floor. Good. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen your spine. Good. Exhale, bow deeply. Nice. Step the right leg back behind you, just enough so that both legs can go straight. Parsvottanasana. Again, you can step the feet just a little bit wider, right and left if you need. Good. And then you're bringing yourself so that that right hand is either just underneath your shoulder, or you can take it a little bit closer towards the big toe side of the foot. Don't take it to the outside of the foot just yet, but bring it somewhere underneath your shoulder or towards the inside of your left foot. And plant that hand, take your left hand up to your lower back. And begin to twist open. As you're twisting open to the left, you're pulling your right low belly up and wide to the right. So I want you to focus on that. Good. So in this position, you keep full side body length. Pull back through the tops of your thighs and pull forward through the crown of your head. Good. And find full breath through your spine here as you are beginning to twist open. Good. One more breath. Press into that hand that's on the floor. Feel yourself lift open a little bit more through your right shoulder, the lower shoulder. Nice. And then release back down. Both hands frame the front foot. Good. Bend your front knee. Take your back foot back a little further. You got it. And then take both hands inside the front foot. So your front knee is bent into a lunge. Full lunge. Both hands inside the front foot. Walk straight ahead with your hands, coming into lizard pose. Good. Scooping through your low belly. So your left butt cheek is actually rolling under just a little bit. So it drops thigh parallel to the floor. And like you're trying to bring your hip points forward and up towards the top of your mat. Good. Up on fingertips. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Collarbones up, throat up. Good. And then exhale, drop down to your forearms for a breath if you can. If not, stay where you are on your fingers. Good. And then drop the back knee to the floor, please. Flex your left foot a lot. Drop onto the baby toe. Let your knee go open wide. Good. And again, if being on forearms with the knee open doesn't work, come back up onto your hands. Nice. And then left forearm stays on the floor, or left hand stays on the floor. Right arm, right hand stays on the floor. Left arm comes to the sky, twist. Good. Drawing the belly back away from the thigh. Nice job. Good. Take the arm over the ear, please, reaching on the diagonal, and try to allow that left sit bone again to wrap under and drop towards the floor. Good. And then release the hand down to the floor. Please take the foot back to flat. Nice. Walk yourself back up. Lift the back knee. Down dog split. Take your left leg up and back behind you. Good. Deep breath in. Come up on the ball of your right foot. So you're lifting up, squeezing through the calf, squeezing up and in through your low belly. Take your hips even higher. That's it. Nice area. Good, Laura. Beautiful, you guys. Release that foot down to the floor, please. Downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Good. Rise up, cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Look forward between your hands, bend your knees and hop your feet forward. Even if you don't typically jump, give it a go. So really lift through your low belly. Good. Straighten the legs as you come to the top of your mat, standing forward fold. Nice job. And then bring the hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Good. Inhale the arms up alongside your ears. Interlace the fingers, press the heels of the hands up towards the sky. And then bend your knees, drop your seat back into chair. Good. Nice, you guys, drawing the belly up off of the thighs. Make sure your knees are still in line with your ankles so there's a little space between them. Good. Nice. One more breath. Press out through your butt, press out through your hands, and then release the hands to the floor, straighten the legs and bow. Good. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to the front of the shins, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, bow deeply again, taking the butt even higher as you press through your heels. And then left foot steps back behind you just enough so that both legs come to straight, Parsvottanasana, second side. Good. You're turning that outer left hip forward. Nice, you guys. You see what I'm going for here is that there's a progression that we move through, right? And that through progression, this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this. We can see that there's a purpose to whatever came before, even if we don't know where it's going, right? This is how we start to wrap our head around this concept of cosmic unity, is that there's a purpose to everything, even if we don't know where it's going. We don't know why it's necessary. We don't know what part it plays in the big picture. And we wonder, does it have to be this way? And who knows, right? Reality is permeable, who knows? But this is the way that it is. And if it's happening, then there's a value to it for the perfection of the whole, because there is only one. So we start to wrap our head around that. So we see what happens in our lives from this perspective of, I don't need to know the reason to find value. I don't need to know the whole picture to know that whoever you are and whoever I am is playing the part that we're playing. Start to move your left hand just to the inside of that right foot, or maybe it stays under the shoulder. Again, the deepness of the twist is completely up to your side body and hip. Right hand comes to your lower back. Start to twist towards your right. And as you are twisting, lift that left low belly up and wide. So don't lift the hand, keep that hand at the low back. Really focus on keeping the pelvis as level as you can and drawing the tops of the thighs back in space. Good. And so when I say level the pelvis, it's not important that it stays exactly in line, but you want there to be that counter action of the left low belly so that you're not just turning everything to the right. Widen both inner thighs, pull the crown of your head forward, get longer, open chest. So focus on, I press down through my left hand and I open that right shoulder wider. By pressing down into my left hand, I keep my left shoulder open. Nice. Good, you guys. And then release the twist. Both hands come to frame the front foot. Bend your right knee a lot. Slide that left foot back into a full lunge, so full length lunge. And then both hands come inside the front foot. Walk yourself straight ahead, up on fingertips. Good, lizard pose. So the front knee is over the front ankle, not coming beyond. Hips are pulling up and back. Good, and chest is lifting up and wide. Nice. So again, you want to feel that sensation of your spine getting as long as it can. And it often feels, if you have a tight lower back, I often say it feels like maybe those tight muscles are getting tugged, kind of like the way you see taffy getting pulled, right? Is that it's a slow stretch, right? Good. One more breath, chest up. And then exhaling, dropping down to your forearms if you can. Again, you can use blocks underneath the hands. But let yourself go a little lower. So even if that just means you're bending your elbows a tiny bit, do that. Good. And then drop the back knee, please. Flexing the right foot, let your knee drop open wide. And again, if doing that on your forearms does not work, come back up onto your hands and do it there. And if it doesn't work at all, leave it out. Keep the foot flat. Good. So your pelvis should still be forward of the back knee. And you still want your collarbones lifting slightly up and wide so you're not collapsing or hunching into your shoulders. Good. And then left hand, left forearm stays on the floor. Right arm comes to the sky. Come into the twist. Good. And then take that arm over the ear. So you're reaching on the diagonal. Again, open armpit, open chest. So you continue to rotate the rib cage towards the ceiling. You continue to drop through that right thigh crease. Good. And then release the hand to the floor, please. Take your foot back to flat. Lift the back knee up. And then take your right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. And then come up on the ball of your left foot. Feel the lift through the calf, feel the lift through your hips. And I know we always think of down dog split as a transition, like it's got to go somewhere. No, just do it as a split. So you're kicking the thighs open. You're lifting the hips higher, pressing into your hands. So again, you get this sensation of lengthening your spine by how much you engage with the floor, how much you engage with what's solid around you. Good. One more breath. Pull yourself longer from crown of head to heel. Good. And then release that foot down to the floor, please. Downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Rise up cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Good. And then exhale, come back down to your belly, please, and come up onto your forearms for Sphinx pose. Nice. Good. So your forearms should be as wide as your shoulders. And if your shoulders are very tight, you could even take your forearms a little wider than that, your elbows slightly wider than that. Good. Because the purpose is to set your pose up in a way where you can find space in your body as it is, not to set a defined position that says this is what your body's supposed to fit into. So if your shoulders are tight, move your elbows wider so that you have a real sense of being able to open through your chest. Eventually, your shoulders will maybe become more comfortable in a narrower position. Maybe they won't ever be. Doesn't mean your Sphinx pose isn't a good one. Good. So you're dragging back on the arms to feel the lift of your chest, the lift of the armpits. Beautiful. And then turn your left forearm parallel to the top of your mat. Bend your right knee, take your heel in towards your butt, reach back right hand for the foot or the ankle. So it's the same hand reaching, same side hand for same side foot. And continue to press into that left forearm, staying as lifted as you can through the shoulder, through the chest. Good. Nice, you guys. A little pressure of the foot back into your hand often helps to feel a little relief on the quad. You can even press down through the top of your knee. So again, there's an anchoring. Good. Take one more breath, chest lifted and wide. Nice. And then go ahead and release, please, and switch sides. So the right forearm is going to come across the top of your mat. You're bending your left knee, reaching back with the left hand for the foot or the ankle. Good. And pressing into the forearms so the chest stays lifted, throat stays lifted. You can always bring the attention back to the space of the third eye, right there at the forehead and even just above. So you remind yourself that there is that second point. Right? Right? Your definition of the world originates in this space. It originates in the space of your mind. So your experience creates this concept of reality in you, and then that's what you continue to see. So if we can bring the attention here and feel that there's already feeding into our mind an awareness of things being one, things being perfect, things being, as they are, then we don't have to think about reality so much. We don't have to think about how it all should work. There's a grace to it, which means we don't have to understand. But we can look at the world through those loving eyes. And then that's the world that continues to create itself through us. Good. Slowly release that foot, please. Beautiful. Release the belly down towards the floor, the chest towards the floor. Make a little pillow with your hands, elbows wide. Drop the forehead onto the hands. Breathe deeply into the back body, into your back rib cage. So you can feel as you're breathing that the belly presses into the floor. So you're still doing that full breath as though you were doing a 3-part breath into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. The orientation is different. And this is the goal of yoga, is to reorient ourselves, right? The breath is the breath. Your inhale and your exhale isn't any different because you're facing the floor or you're facing the ceiling or you're facing anywhere else. But your perspective on it will change based on that orientation. So reorient yourself, reorient the mind in that direction of reflecting the perfection that's there, even if we don't understand how it all works. Right? You let your eyes become more loving, more compassionate. And again, that's not a bunch of rules that you have to follow that says, if I'm doing it this way, I'm being compassionate. If I'm doing it this way, I'm not. It means you start to actually find in yourself where is the root of those feelings, where they exist already. Good. Reorienting. Ajna Chakra, they call it the command center sometimes. It's the area that commands the reality that we are living in. So orient it towards that perfection, back up to the Guru Chakra, back up to the crown. And again, if you have no idea what the heck that means, just look at yourself and your world in as loving a way as you can. Walk yourself back up onto your hands, please. Good. Press up onto hands and knees. Nice. Do a little cat and cow if necessary. It's just moving the spine. Good. And then come back to stillness, please. Stretch your right leg back behind you, toes tucked on the floor. Drop the heel flat, and then take the right arm up to the sky, so an open twist. Good. And then lean your weight forward onto that left hand, onto your left shin. Float your right leg up parallel to the floor, so it's like a kneeling Ardha Chandrasana. Good. And then bend the knee, kick your heel back towards your butt, reach back for the foot or the ankle. Good. And as you draw that thigh back, careful that you don't push your ribs forward. So actually draw your rib cage in. Good. Try and rotate that left butt cheek, left thigh crease back towards your heel. Nice. And the chest opens more. Really nice. Good, Harriet. Good, Laura. Nice, Mark. You got it, Andy. Good. And then release, please, extending the leg back behind you, arm up. And then come back to hands and knees, please. Good. And set up for the other side. Take your left leg back behind you, toes tucked. Let your heel come to flat. Take your left arm up to the sky. Good. So you're pausing there for a moment, pressing down into the right shin, really feeling that there's a foundation there. And then lean your way onto that right wrist, right hand just a little bit more. Good. Pushing into the hand to feel the lift through your armpit. And then float the left leg up parallel to the floor. Good. Bend the knee, please take the heel in towards your butt, reach back for the foot or the ankle. Then again, as you're drawing that thigh long, you're moving the knee back so it's in line with your hip. Doesn't have to come further back than that, but in line with your hip. And draw your low rib cage in and try and draw that right sit bone back and wide. So you're taking it around and in so everything stays in that original alignment as much as it can. Good. Chest open. Yeah, it's those subtle little things that are the restrictive cues or the things that say stay in alignment that help us to open in places we wouldn't normally go. And that's the guru. Take the leg back behind you, arm up, right? The one who suggests to you, go this way because you wouldn't go there on your own. Come back onto hands and knees. Good. Again, wiggling the hips just a little bit, doing a little bit of cat and cow if necessary. And then coming back to stillness, tucking your toes, lift your hips, come back downward facing dog. And again, look forward between your hands, bend your knees, using your navel, hop your feet to the top of your mat. Good, coming to a standing forward fold as you come to the top of your mat. Really good, excellent, you guys. We'll be doing Ashtanga leaps in no time. Jump throughs and jump backs, all of that. Good, take your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. If you don't know what that means, don't look it up, you'll just upset yourself. Okay, right leg, standing leg, please. Bend your left knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Reach back with the left hand for the foot of the ankle. Good, Natrajasana, dancer pose. Good. Right hand starts at behind your head, so bring the hand behind your head. Good, so that's just a reminder to you to keep your throat long, keep your chest up. Good, so from that beginning position, right, standing on one leg, lifting up, you're taking your thigh back behind you as your thigh comes back. So the lift of that thigh is just like you're coming back into like a down dog split as you're pulling that thigh up and back. And then you're letting your chest start to lean forward or your pelvis tips forward. So go ahead and come forward any amount, keeping the chest lifted and up. Good, head pressing back into your hand. Nice. So it's said often to let the forward action be initiated by the lift of your leg. So it's not that you lean forward and then lift your leg, but as you're lifting your leg, you allow your chest to tip forward. Good. And then if you want, stretch that arm up alongside your ear. If you're super excited and can, reach back with both hands for the foot or the ankle. Nice, chest up. Really good. And then slowly release, come all the way back up to stand. Awesome, you guys. Release the foot to the floor. Beautiful. And then set up for the second side. So again, finding yourself settling into your breath, not with a, oh, I got to do the second side, but with a, yay, I get to do the second side. Brand new pose, right? Left leg, standing leg, bend the right knee, reach back for the foot or the ankle. Or you can be excited, be like, yes, only one more side, then we're done with this pose, right? Left hand behind your head. It's okay, whatever goes on in your mind, just be aware of it. Press the head into the hand, start to move that right thigh back in space. So again, it's the initiation of that thigh that allows you to come forward. Good, so as the chest comes forward, it's in unity with that back thigh. Sometimes we say like a little, like those little tippy birds that are on, you know, their axis, right? That's what we want, is that as one side is lifting, the other side is moving in unity. Good, it's not one or the other. It's my whole body is finding an openness here. Really good, you guys. Stretch that left arm to straight if you'd like, alongside the ear, or reach back with both hands for the foot or the ankle if that's available. Really beautiful. Good, Laura, good, Mark. And then slowly release, please, coming all the way back up. Good, release the foot to the floor. Excellent. Feet underneath your hips. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. And see, just imagine if you went through an entire practice with your mind really focused in one place, what that would feel like. Just imagine it. Because it's totally okay that you've probably never done it in your life. But if you have, you know what that feels like to be in that focused state, right? Step your right leg back behind you, please. Lunge. Drop the knee. Use a blanket underneath that knee if you'd like. Inhale the arms to the sky. Anjaneyasana. Good. One more deep breath, letting the pelvis move forward just a tiny bit more. Nice. And then release the hands back down to the floor. If you have two blocks handy and you want to put them underneath your hands, go for that. Good. So you're coming into Hanumanasana. So move your hips back over top of that right knee for a moment so you can take your left leg to straight. And again, if Ardha Hanumanasana is, you know, that's just where you want to go today, then just stay here with the hips stacked over the knee and the front leg straight and bow. Or start to take that left heel forward more into more of a full Hanuman. And the reason I suggested blocks is because I want to give you the opportunity, if it is available, that in your Hanuman, you don't typically do this, is to try to bend your back knee and kick your heel in towards your butt. So doing like a quad stretch in your Hanumanasana. I know you're all like, I don't know if I want to do that. Opportunity, right? Not a requirement, but just a thing that you could do if you wanted to do it. So looking at the way you've set up your pose, is that a possibility? And if the answer is no, no worries. just an opportunity. Good. Maybe instead, if that's not going to happen, play with planting that right hand, take your left arm up to the sky and twist just a little bit towards that left leg. So a subtle twisting, Hanumanasana. Nice. And then release that hand back down towards the floor. Good. Squeeze your legs together as you lift your hips so you can bend that back knee and use it there, but then squeeze your legs together so that you can come all the way back up into downward facing dog and don't feel awkward, or less awkward anyway. Nice, Harriet. That's perfect. Good. Vinyasa if you'd like, or take a child's pose. If you're doing the vinyasa, slide forward to plank, lower down to your belly or through chaturanga, coming into cobra or upward facing dog. Good. And then come back downward facing dog. Nice. So right foot comes forward between the hands. Should be the second side. Good. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale both arms up. Anjaneyasana to begin. Right? Often named or said to be named for Anjani or Anjali, Hanuman's mother. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Good. Start to shift into Hanumanasana. So moving your left hip back in space. And again, if you're just coming into Ardha Hanumanasana, stay here with the hips stacked and come up on the right heel with the legs straight. Or start to wiggle that right heel forward, move your left knee back, coming into more of the full split. Again, blocks underneath the hands are a great option here for if you want to play with any variation. So again, that quad stretch is an option, bending the back knee, drawing the heel in, and you could reach back for the foot or the ankle, again, if that's possible. Or, there you go, don't do it if it's painful. Or you could go for that twisting variation where the left hand stays on the floor, right arm comes to the sky, and you start to turn your belly open to the right. Good. The trick with a lot of these variations is that if our pelvis is super out of alignment, is that they're impossible to do. Right? So it starts to bring us to an awareness of where we've gone out of whack and gotten ourselves stuck in one place, right? So Hanumanasana is a tricky one because it's an intense pose no matter what. Good. Release the hand back down to the floor if you were in that twist. And then squeeze the legs towards each other. Pull your hips up like you're just going to suction the legs back together. And then plant the hands, come back to downward facing dog. Really good. Good. Pedal your feet just a little bit. Move your hips from side to side. Nice. Really good, you guys. And then steady the heels, please. Drop the knees to the floor. Come into a child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together to touch. And knees don't have to be wide. If it feels good after all of that sort of outer hip stuff we've done to keep the legs closer together, keep the legs closer together. Nice. And then walk yourself all the way back up, please. Good. Find your way onto your backs. Just flip over like a pancake. Good. So my suggestion here is a little bit of shoulder stand, just to give you the upside down experience and to give you the pressure back up to that space near the third eye, right? So the upside down helps to bring our awareness back there. So shoulder stand, if that is available. If full shoulder stand is not in your vocabulary, a block underneath your sacrum and the legs up to the sky is perfect. But if you don't have a block, you can just have your hips flat on the ground and legs up to the sky. But if none of that is available, but you have a wall and you want to do legs up the wall, go for it. But if you're already in shoulder stand, do not come down to do legs up the wall. You've made your bed, stay in it. Good. Just kidding. You made a great choice. Don't give up on it. Good. Hands to the lower back. You're pressing down into the upper arms so that you feel that lift and squeeze from the back of your heart draws up. Good. It draws all the way up through the belly and all the way up through the inner edges of the legs. And then your throat is long. So you feel this connection of the lengthening of your throat to the wideness of your shoulders. And if you can, bring the attention back to the space of the third eye and just above. Literal word, guru, made up of two smaller words, light and dark. The translation for the word is often said to be the guru is the one who takes you from darkness to light, or who helps you to find the light in your own darkness. And how do they do it? Yes, sometimes they are giving teachings, but the real teaching is their presence, right? The way of being in the world in such a loving way where what they see when they look at you is your perfection, not your problems. They see your wholeness, not whatever your issues are. And so when they poke at you or give you directions, is they are reflecting you in the direction of your own wholeness. What do you need to be able to see it? So if anyone who claims to be a guru tries to tell you that they can fix your problems for you, is maybe find someone else. Because the guru doesn't want to fix you. The guru just wants you to love yourself the same way they love you. And this is the cosmic guru, it's that love of the perfection, the love that comes from the perfection of what is. And that's what we are uniting ourselves with when we say we are practicing yoga, is that we are reaching for that in ourselves. Where is that innate connection? A couple more breaths upside down, I know. Good. See if with your last breath, you can actually lift yourself a little taller, pull up longer. Yes, really good. And then slowly release, rolling down the spine, one vertebra at a time. As your hips come low, draw your knees in towards your chest, but try not to collapse. Try to keep the head and shoulders relaxed, navel engaged to bring the legs down. Good. And then let the feet come flat to the floor, knees bent. Pause there for a moment. Try not to go immediately into that knees into chest. Good. Take the arms overhead and hold opposite elbows. Let your head rock from side to side, right and left. And then take your feet a little wider on your mat and let your knees start to drop right and left, windshield wiper. So both knees to one side and the other. Good. And the next time your knees drop to the right, let them stay there. And maybe this feels like it's enough, just hang out. Or if you would like to take your right ankle on top of your left thigh, add a little bit of extra awareness to the stretch on that left leg. Guru Purnima, celebrating the guru energy that is in you. And maybe celebrating the gurus that are in your life, but maybe don't hold that title, right? And the title isn't one that they give themselves, it's one that's given to them. So anyone that you see as a guru is your guru. If you see in them a source of trust and real belief that they see something in you that you can't see yourself, you really feel like they are guiding you through your darkness, then sure, call them a guru if you want. And realize that that can be anyone. And sometimes it is the ones who poke at our darkness the most that are our greatest gurus, because they are helping us, whether we realize it or not, to see the light that we are. Come back to center, please. Plant the feet. And then again, letting the knees drop to the opposite side, to the left. And again, you might stay here or take the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Get any pressure on either knee, step the foot off and just let the knees drop where they will drop. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. Guru Deva Maheshwari, that's a name for Shiva. The beginnings and middles and ends are all your gurus. All of them are a reflection of the completion, the perfection that's there. So you can't really take them apart. And when we get that concept that we really can't take anything apart, no matter how much we want to, then we start to comprehend just a little bit that idea that everything is one, no matter what we think about it. That everything is whole and perfect, even if we don't understand and we don't agree. And so you still do the best that you can in your life, but you do it with eyes that are a little softer, that see things in a slightly different way. Come on back to center, unwinding the legs, release the arms, hug the knees in towards your chest. Good. Bring your bottoms of your feet together, please, knees wide, and drop the heels in towards your groin. So don't drop the feet to the floor. Keep your knees angled up towards your armpits, but hold your ankles. Good. So it's a Baddha Konasana on your back, but you're not dropping the feet. Good. So as you draw those groins in, or you draw the heels in, draw the knees up towards the armpits, so squeeze them up. There you go. And then let them go wide. Excellent. And then bring the knees all the way together, please. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees and squeeze. Good. And then slowly releasing the shoulders, stretch the legs out in front of you, arms alongside you. Settle yourself for Shavasana. And suggestion is that you allow the feeling of your individual self to fade into that cosmic unity. So your breath takes you beyond the confines of the body and the mind and back into that shared oneness. There is nothing else. Very gently bring the awareness back to the breath. Letting the body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to the right side. And taking a moment before you begin to push the floor away, come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center. Again, imagining that unbroken line from the Guru chakra just above the third eye to the third eye, straight down to the heart. It says the Guru has the power to enlighten us or to remove our suffering, remove our darkness. But they do it by simply reflecting the loving kindness or the universal oneness that they already feel in themselves. And so it awakens that same thing in you. That's why we like it. It awakens it in us. And the more we can feel it as ourselves, that's when we become free. Not because the Guru did something magical or this, that, or the other thing happened. It's because we suddenly feel that same source running through us, that same love running through us. And we know that it's not an imagination. We know it's real. So the celebration of Guru Purnima is the great Guru is life, beginnings, middles, and ends, and you can't separate any of it. And so any being has the ability to spark this in you, and you have the ability to spark it in yourself. Look for it. Where is the root of your loving connection to the world? And if you have that, you feel that flow of loving unity, that loving kindness, or however you want to phrase it in you, then you're already free. You just live your life through that. See the world through that. And if that doesn't make any sense, just keep practicing and look at the world in as loving a way as you can. Don't worry about it. A Guru will show up to ignite you. We'll close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week until I see you again. Take a look at the website, pay attention